Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Podcast. I'm back here with Ben, and we will continue with the questions we asked each other on the previous episode. Welcome, Ben.
Welcome. Good to be back, everybody. We asked some fire round questions in the previous episode that we were not able to fully address. So we'll kick things off this week with the remainder of those questions. And we can jump right in here.
Yeah.
In the previous episode, I did ask you about gun violence in this country. Is gun violence the primary danger to children?
And I said no.
You said no?
Yes.
Okay.
That was my answer. And the reason I said no is because I think what we're seeing in America is a product of mental illness. So that's the primary cause of gun violence. That's why I answered no to that question. So I think if we want to address this idea of gun violence and maybe try to protect our children from it, we should start considering the mental health of the children that we have in this society today.
Sure. So for children specifically,
yeah,
right?
Because you stated you asked me if it was if it was the biggest threat against children. So that's why I'm saying specifically to children.
Okay.
Yeah.
So recently, the number one cause of death for children became gun violence.
Okay.
More so than car accidents. More so than cancer, which actually affects a very surprising amount of children in this country.
Yeah.
And so that has become the number one cause of death for children in the United States.
Yeah.
Very shocking to think about, right? I mean, that's not the case in any other
Well,
country in the
the
world.
reason I said no to your question again is because I know the cause of gun violence is mental health crisis. So that should be what we should be focusing on how to get our children the help they need. Because every time when you hear of any of these situations, what do you get from them? It was someone that was unstable mentally. So they found a gun, they went to a school and shoot up the whole place. So we need to address the fundamental cause of this problem, which is mental health crisis among our children.
So, I mean, if we compare, right, to obviously nations around the world, this is a common comparison where there's less access to guns. I mean, they also have mental health, of course.
Yeah.
But, speaking specifically to protecting the kids and kids in schools and everything, because we've seen even recently more shootings happening in schools around the country, elementary schools, like young children. I have a daughter in school, and it's something that different from our generation.
It's very different.
They have to actually prepare for these things. Their elementary kids are now having to go through active shooter drills in their schools. And so do you not think that obviously doing even the smallest bit to prevent guns from getting in the hands of people who shouldn't have them, people who don't actually have a legal right to have a gun, couldn't we be doing more? Do you think we could be doing more to prevent?
I don't think, like I always answer this question when anybody asks me if I think there should be a ban on guns in America. I always say a fat no, and my reason for that is this: guns don't march into a place and shoot up the place. Someone have to carry the gun.
Yeah,
we should focus on making sure that the people that have that carry the gun should get the help they need before they even get to that level.
So the question is not about a ban.
Yeah.
And I want to be very clear on this because this gets brought up a lot in the gun debate, right?
Okay.
There's never been in modern history any argument in favor of banning guns. Never.
Okay.
Not under any president, not under any leadership was there ever something that said we want to ban the right to own a gun. Right? That's not a thing.
I mean, I don't think you're very active on the media space, because if you were, you would see a lot of people actually.
I'm sure they're saying it on the media.
Yeah, there are some extremists flying that banner, but I understand you.
No, that's a different thing. I'm talking about what's the reality.
The reality, okay,
of the situation. Nobody in Congress or anywhere has ever
suggested a ban,
proposed. Well, there may be someone who suggested it.
There's someone in there.
But there's never been a bill proposed in Congress that says
there's someone in there actually
that we should ban the right to own a gun. That's not a thing at all. So that we can take that out of the debate, right?
Okay.
The only thing that's ever been seriously considered in terms of legislation is more strict background checks, for example, putting laws in place that, someone who wants to buy a gun, the background check should be more strict, more stringent in determining that this person, to go along with your point, is mentally fit to be a gun owner, right?
That should definitely be a criteria.
And right, and so this goes back. I think this was early 2010s, when Congress under Obama at the time was trying to pass a bill, and it at that time got, I think, over 90% approval for the passage of this bill, because all it said, again, banning guns has never been a thing. That's not a real thing. It said, more strict background checks, limiting the sale of guns online, because that's a way of kind of getting around laws around gun sales. Is you can go online and you could go on Craigslist and buy a gun, right? Mm-hmm. So it's obviously very, very hard to track and regulate, but 90+% of people supported this bill.
But is there anyone against that? Because that's a logical thing to do, to reduce the amount of shootings in America.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, is there anyone against
90% of Americans agreed with it, but a few people in Congress did not.
They did not.
Namely, Mitch McConnell, who coincidentally receives, nearly $1 million in funding from the National Rifle Association. That's the NRA. This is the organization considered the gun lobby in the United States, right? This is the major corporation who profits off of sale of guns. And so, you would think, and actually a lot of people who are members in the NRA also agree with this legislation, right? Even though they're lawful gun owners, as many of us are, they agreed with, hey, maybe we should make sure we should be, a little more careful about who we sell these guns to, because a lot of crazy people are getting guns, right? Yeah. The NRA, for some reason, does not support that. They're the ones profiting off of the selling of these guns.
Why would they support it?
Because I'll tell you exactly why.
It will go against their sales.
Well, I mean, right. So
why would they support it? So, I always say, we cannot hope for organizations like that are like maybe third parties to our governments to step up and do anything. It's always back to our government. If we want anything to get done, it has to be Congress.
That is our government.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell is a senator in
No, you're talking about the NRA. Is that a governmental organization?
That's a gun lobby, and so the point is, are
they affiliated to the government directly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they're a gun lobby, which means they're lobbying members of Congress. They're working directly with the government.
With the government.
And many people.
And it's not a third party organization. It's owned by the United States of American government.
Owned? No, it's a lobby. It's a organization. It's a corporate company.
It's a corporate company that's privately owned.
That works with the government. It's not. No, it's a publicly traded company.
It's a publicly traded company. Okay.
But yeah. So I mean, we're getting into the weeds there. But we know that corporate interests obviously are obviously very much affiliated with members of Congress, and that's the entire point here, right? Mitch McConnell is the one who not single-handedly, but had enough power to tank this bill that was moving through Congress that had the support of 95% of America, because he gets money from the NRA.
What was his proposal to this problem? Because it's actually a problem right now. Oh. When he tanked the bill, what did he offer as an alternate solution to?
This is why this debate is important, right? Because the people who oppose such legislation, their main argument is it always comes back to their Second Amendment right? The amendment of the Constitution that says the right to bear arms.
Absolutely, and should be protected at all costs.
The reality, once again, is that nobody has ever proposed that we ban that right. People have certainly proposed that, hey, maybe we don't need like automatic machine guns, stuff like that. But that wasn't even a part of the bill. I mean, it was like, or actually, there might have been something banning certain number of magazines that you can, purchase with an assault rifle, something like that. So the bottom line is, I mean, corporate interests are really at the root of this, and it's I believe, to the point you raised earlier, the NRA should want their product in the hands of sane people, right? Let's have a little bit of ethics.
Does it benefit them?
I'll tell you what's most shocking about this whole scenario is that after mass shootings occur in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
gun sales go up because people get more scared
People
and
are
they start
scared.
thinking we need
That
to
was gonna
buy
be my
guns
next
to protect
point.
ourselves.
That was going to be my next
So the
point for you
NRA is literally benefiting off
of
of
that.
mass slaughter
Okay,
in the United
this is
States.
my question for you right now. If you say we should regulate the sale of guns in America,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with this. So what about criminals? Because they don't really function within the law. They don't. Criminals don't function within the law. And they have their guns. When you call 911, how long does it take for the cops to respond? How does it take for you to get help when you call 911? There are already guns in the streets. There have always been guns in America.
Yes.
Yeah. So if they regulate this, if they put these regulations and I'm not able to get a gun for whatsoever reason,
Mm-hmm.
and now these criminals know that these people now are more vulnerable because they don't have access to these weapons. The criminals carry them. How will I be able to protect my family against them when they kick my door?
Again, you're getting back to the same point that
Well, I'm just trying because it's
No,
a concerning thing.
So to answer your question,
Yeah.
you still have the right to illegally own a gun. That's not what the debate
So
is.
what are the regulations? What do these
A
regulations?
more strict background check
A more strict. Okay.
to make sure that you're not a
If
crazy
I
person.
fail this background check and I don't get a gun, how will I protect my family then?
You should probably get some mental health treatment if that's the case. If you don't qualify to own a gun, there's a good reason for it.
But I'll be vulnerable, right?
We're all.
You know what these regulations would do?
You know what's much
This
more
reg-
likely
what
to
the-
kill
what
you
this
is
reg-
getting in a car accident. I mean, the point you're making is such a slippery slope of.
No. These are questions
logical
that
reasoning, right?
These are questions that people with
right.
guns ask. Yes. If you make these regulations tighter,
Nobody's taken away your
and
right to own the gun.
No. If you make the regulations tight and I'm not able to have a gun as a family man, as an individual with a lot to protect because of your regulations, when danger do knocks at my door, who will protect me and my family?
The only reason you would not have the right to buy a gun is if you didn't qualify
Okay.
as a mentally stable
Yes.
person.
Okay, let's
Or-
play this analogy.
Or if you had been guilty of a crime in the
crime.
past using a gun.
Okay, hold on.
So
Let-
those
let-
are the types of things
let's
that
play
would
this analogy.
disqualify you.
Let's play this analogy. I have been disqualified now. I'm a father of 4.
Thank God.
Yes, I've been disqualified. I'm a father of 4.
This man does not need a gun.
Okay, stop it. I'm a father of 4. Right now, I've been disqualified.
How
I don't
many
have a
baby
gun.
mamas?
I don't have a gun right now, right?
Okay.
If a criminal kicks at my door, how will I protect that family of mine? Because you regulated the guns from us, citizens, but you didn't regulate them for criminals that already have the guns. They don't play by the rules. Okay, if the criminal kicks
No.
at my door right now, how will I save my... I can call 911, but it's going to take them maybe 15,
You're
20 minutes to
actually
get here.
helping prove my point because if that bill had passed
Mhm.
and restricted more criminals from getting guns, that's actually
the thing.
protecting you.
The problem with bills like that, Ben, is they don't restrict criminals
How
from
do you
getting
know?
guns.
The bill
It
never
doesn't
passed.
stop them. The black market will still be open. They will still sell this gun. People will still acquire them illegally. The bill will
You
only
could say that
affect-
about literally every single crime. You could say, hey, why do we need a law against murder? People are going to murder anyway.
Look, Ben,
But that's such a poor argument against
it's actually
something that
concerns that
95% of people supported because it's not, nobody's saying it's going to be perfect. Nobody's saying
Ben,
that no criminal is ever going to get
these
a gun.
are complaints from people. When you go anytime somebody
People who don't
proposes-
understand
No.
the issue, yeah.
Again, I use an analogy to explain to you the fear that an average American that has a gun that might be taken away from them because of
Someone who fears gun
because
violence
of their background.
should
because of their
support a
background.
bill that restricts guns from going to criminals.
The issue you're not getting here is what the point I'm trying to get across to you is criminals do not play by the law. The bill is good. It's gonna restrict guns for people that are law-abiding citizens, but it's not gonna stop criminals from still carrying their weapons.
No one's saying
How
it
will
is. No one's saying it is.
Okay,
But
so
the
now-
more, why would we, look,
So how do we balance this?
let me answer the question.
Yeah.
The more we are able to restrict criminals from getting it, the better. Why would that be a bad
The
thing?
problem is criminals will not play by the
Let
rule.
me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. No one is saying that criminals are going to stop trying to get guns.
Okay.
That's not anybody's argument here.
Mhm.
But why would we not restrict more criminals from getting them if we have the power to do so? Why would we not? The analogy you just gave is assuming that the criminal has the gun. So passing a gun safety bill would limit their ability to get it. So why would we not want it to make
Okay.
it harder for criminals to get guns?
It limits the ability of a criminal to get the gun, right? But this person is already a criminal. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna say,
That's not a good argument.
hold on.
That's not a good argument.
They're gonna say, I'm trying to be realistic here as much as possible. It's not about what sounds politically correct right now.
But the point you're
Hold on.
making, Platini, is that why should we pass a law
Let me finish.
if people aren't going to follow it?
Okay,
Right?
hold on. No, not people. Criminals will not follow that law.
They're not going to follow any law.
Thank you.
So why
But
would
now,
we have any laws?
So
then?
now people like me and you that might not pass the criteria to get the gun, even if we are not criminals, right? We might end up not getting the gun, right? Because law-abiding citizens will definitely try to follow the criteria to get the gun. Hold on, let me learn. They will follow the criteria to get the gun. But the criminal will not follow that criteria. So what stops the criminal now from hurting me? I don't have the gun. Cops will not respond right away.
Okay.
So how do I protect myself? That was just my question.
Let me answer the question.
I'm not against no regulations. I'm just trying to figure out
You're
how.
You're coming up with a hypothetical that doesn't.
I'm using an analogy to put out a situation the best I
Platini,
can.
Let me answer that.
Yeah,
this exact analogy that you just created.
Yeah.
If you're not a criminal,
okay,
you will have the right to get a gun.
Okay.
That erases the entire situation that you just outlined.
Okay.
If you are a law-abiding person, let me finish. If you're a law-abiding person,
you will get the gun.
Who doesn't have mental illness,
you'll get the gun.
There's nothing stopping you from getting the gun legally.
So
your argument to say, well, this law is going to prevent me from getting a gun, but criminals are still going to have it. That's not a logical, hypothetical situation. The law can only help prevent the situation you just described. The exact situation you described.
And the law can actually work against me in that situation too.
No.
Because, all right.
It can't.
The criteria you
Unless
said it can be
you're a
mental
criminal.
health. You said, hold on. You said, what were the criteria listed in this bill?
To prevent, to more strict background checks.
Okay. Now, I haven't committed a crime in America since I've been here.
Then you can get a gun.
Hold on. What if I still manage somehow and fail that background check because of maybe the mental part of it? What if I fail the mental part of it?
You're making up a scenario that doesn't apply.
Ben,
you will qualify.
These are
to get the
valuable
gun.
questions when you bring up something like this. You cannot bring up something like this knowing fully whether a lot of people in America will not pass this background check and you don't answer these questions.
Why are you saying, listen for a second. Why would you assume you're not going to pass the background check if you don't have a criminal record? What logic are you basing that on?
You said mental health, right? What if I fail the mental health part of it?
Why would you fail? If you fail the mental health, I hope you don't get a gun if you fail the mental health part of it.
Then who is going to protect my family then when I fail the mental health part of it?
This bill would help protect your family because it would prevent people like criminals from getting more access to guns.
Trust me, we've already established the fact that criminals will not care about no bill. They will still go get their guns.
If you don't pass the mental health check, you're a part of the problem.
Okay, let me ask you a question right now.
We don't want you to have a gun.
Okay. All right, hold on. Okay, I agree with you. But let me ask you a question right now. If this bill was to pass today, right now, right? All these
a lot of people would be very happy.
Hold on. Yeah. All these kids running around Minneapolis with guns, they're still going to have their guns in their pocket. And they're not going to give it up. They will not give it up. And the market is still going to be open. There's still going to be a way for them to buy these guns. And nothing can stop it. Right?
Yeah.
But now, if I go now for this gun and sometime maybe they give me a written mental health test and I do somehow manage to fail it, now my gun is taken away because I'm a law-abiding. Let me finish. I'm a law-abiding, so my gun is taken away. It doesn't still change the fact that when I go out in downtown trying to have fun, these kids can still run up to me with their own gun. Now, at that point, I don't have a gun to defend myself.
Once again, every single point you've made is one that's not a real situation. You just once again repeated this lie that gets repeated over and over that if this law passes, they're going to take my gun away. That's not a part. That's not even a.
But you say, I just said if I fail, wait, do you think the people that will not be able to get these guns are only going to be people with a criminal record?
Or people with mental health issues.
Okay. What if I fail the mental health?
Then you shouldn't have a gun.
Then who is going to protect me and my family? That was my question.
You could say that about literally everything, Platini. Look, why do we have laws saying that murder is illegal? Because we don't want people to get murdered.
To get murdered, yeah.
Does that stop criminals from murdering people?
No, it doesn't.
That's not how laws work, right? The law is in place so that we can do our best to prevent violence from happening. And that's what the law would do. Okay. And if you are someone who doesn't qualify to get a gun, then you're someone who has the potential to commit violence.
I understand you, Ben. I understand
I don't think that you do.
No, I'm trying so hard to understand you here, but you're not trying. The disconnection here is
the disconnection is that you're creating false scenarios as a part of this argument.
Questions. These are very valid questions because the only way I feel safe is when I have my gun and I know that if anybody comes up to me.
What's stopping you?
If anybody comes up to me,
what's stopping you from buying a gun?
I'm not strong to protect anything. I will shoot you, right?
What's stopping you from buying a gun? That's your right. Why don't you buy a gun?
Nothing. How do you know if I own one or not?
Okay, then what?
So now, if I lose my gun to this law, who will protect me?
You won't. Why would you? Are you saying that you're not
No,
mentally fit to own a gun?
So we need to see this bill. If you want to pass such a bill, and we need to see it and explain all possible scenarios out of that bill, because America is a gun country. It has always been.
Nobody's trying to change that.
I have another question.
Nobody has ever proposed that we erase the Second Amendment.
I raised this point
And
about
so-
mental health, right? And we didn't really deliberate more on that. Why do you think that when me and you were growing up, even though I grew up in Cameroon, I wasn't here, but I watched CNA, the news a lot, the gun violence was a little bit not the way it is today. But there were guns in America. Why is it a progressive issue as years are going in America?
Because of corporate interest, because the NRA profits from gun violence.
So you think the NRA they are the people motivating these children to take these guns and go kill people? There have always been guns in America, Ben. But this progressive issue
There's a lot more of them now. There's a way more of them
This
now.
progressive issue just goes a long way to show that we need to be able to take care of our children more. Let's get to the root cause of this. It's a mental health crisis. Let's break the root cause of this. Guns don't get up and walk into a mall
So
and shoot
if
up
you
the
believe
mall.
it's a mental health crisis, why would you be opposed to us having stricter background checks against people with mental health
Again, like I
issues?
said, did I oppose anything? I was just asking you questions that are very vital for a bill like that to pass. I didn't oppose anything.
Let's go on the record. I think we should. Platini needs to have a mental health analysis.
I did not oppose anything. I'm
because
just asking questions.
He
Gentlemen.
he seems very concerned that he's not going to pass this mental health.
No.
Let's get a professional in here as soon as possible, and have
Be careful, young man.
Platini.
Hey, I'm sorry. But no, these are valuable questions, Ben. I think we need to look at the mental state of our children more and pay attention to these kids.
I
Because
100%
every time I've
agree
seen-
that mental health is a crisis.
I've seen when
We've
every
talked
time
about
I've
that
seen,
on this program as well.
every time I've seen someone on the news that Billy took a gun, went into this and shut up. It's always one of these children that don't really have a high social skills. It's always someone that is so withdrawn out of the society.
It would be great, wouldn't it, if we could maybe take more measures to prevent them from getting their hands on guns?
No, we should probably invest that money into making sure they are good people in the society. We should look at the root cause of this.
Yeah, maybe
even
both.
Even if you take the guns from them,
It's not one or the other here, right?
even if you take the guns from them, right? Sign a paper in DC and have all of us turning our guns, whatever it is you want. We will do it. But guess what? The black market will still remain open. And these kids will still figure out a way to go buy a gun and still shoot the places
That's
up.
the case with every single crime out there, absolutely.
But you know what is going to happen now?
Laws
There will
don't
not be anybody to even prevent this, because I won't have a gun. When they come in, I'm going to run. Maybe if you didn't sign that law, I would
Once
have
again-
something here and drop
Once
them.
again, I don't know why you're scared of them taking your guns away.
No, please do not take
We need to get a mental health
don't,
professional in here right away.
Don't start.
No one's stopping you from owning a gun,
Anyways,
unless you're not fit to do so.
Anyways, I think the primary cause of gun violence
What's
in
your
America,
criminal record? Maybe
Clean.
we should talk
I
about
only
that.
have it's not even a speeding ticket. I was driving, I forgot my headlight on. In all the 7 years I served in America, I have one ticket in my record.
All right, well,
That's all. Clean. I do
Then-
not commit crimes. But I'm just worried for people that maybe if you had a previous criminal record, now you're back into the society, living a normal life.
if it was
because
a
of your
gun,
past.
if it was a gun crime, then yeah,
you shouldn't have a gun. Never. Okay.
that's what I mean, I don't. Yeah, it depends. If you killed somebody with a
So,
gun, you probably wouldn't.
my only
wanna-
problem is response time when you call the cops. Is the response time. If you see someone knocking at your door trying to break in, and you're someone that you're going to have been taken away from whatsoever reason, you have zero protection at that point. The
Why?
criminal is not.
This is
Okay,
once
what-
again a hypothetical you're creating that doesn't
Yes,
make any
because
sense. You
what
have
I
a
said
right
was-
to own a gun.
What I said was, I'm using analogies. Analogies are hypothetical situations.
Yeah, but they
Because
don't.
we need to look at things like this before we tell people to get really strict about these gun laws and all whatever. Because at the end of the day, criminals will still get their guns. Whether you pass a bill banning guns or not, they will still figure out a way to get
Yeah,
them from the
whether or
black
not
market.
murder is illegal, people will still do it.
There you go.
That's not a good argument to not pass laws. that's not a good argument to say.
Ben, you know what I'm talking about.
That's not it's
don't?
not a good argument
Okay.
to say let's try to make it difficult for criminals to get guns, right? That's what we're trying to do here, right? So why would somebody be opposed to that?
Let
right?
me ask you a question, Ben. How many bills have been signed by our lawmakers of the land to prevent drug circulation in the streets in America?
Not nearly enough.
But we have had a lot, right?
No, we haven't.
You don't think we have had
Oh, you mean like
organized-
like a legal sale of?
drug? I'm talking about things like cocaine and is it fentanyl and all these harmful substances. But they're still in our society. You know why? They're still here right now. You know why? Because the criminals don't care about no paper sign in DC. They don't give a crap. They will still bring it in, regardless. If we ban guns here in America
So what
today,
is your argument then? You're saying
My thing is-
we should legalize heroin?
no, I'm not saying that. No. What I was trying to get to is
Right,
sometimes
so-
like even if you ban if you because you sign what I was trying to get to is even if you sign the bill, right, criminals will not still care.
Nobody's
Because they're criminal. They're criminals.
I agree.
They're criminals.
So, let's not make it easier for them.
So how about we focus on the mental health rehabilitation of our children more with the resources we have at hand, and try to understand why these children are even behaving the way they are. It's clear that something is wrong in our society.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because the same people who want to pass gun safety legislation also want better mental health resources. Those are the same people who are arguing for both of those things.
My friend, I'm not.
then
I don't just.
There's another group of people opposing
I'm
both
not
of those
ignorant.
things.
I don't just pick out like I told you over and over here. I don't just run under a banner like that. I look at the details of everything. Mental health is a big issue in America. These children need help. That's why they're carrying these guns and shooting places up. It's a cry for help. People need to invest in that.
That
more.
wasn't what the question was.
Yeah.
100%.
It doesn't matter which team is signing that bill. Somebody needs to sign it in because these children need help. That's all I'm saying.
It does matter, because bills don't get signed because of certain people.
All I'm
in
saying
government.
is I just need the bill signed.
It does matter.
I don't care if it's a Republican sign or a Democrat. We need to do it for the people. Again, I always tell you this
Yeah.
on this show over and over.
So, no, we've talked
Progress
about
is the point.
we've talked about mental health
Yeah.
many times.
They need
That's an essential
that needs to
thing.
be a law already.
Um,
Helping these children. It should be in every public and private school, trying to figure out a way to get to these kids. It's always someone that is screaming for help.
Yeah.
That ends up doing something like that.
Completely different topic, completely different question.
You ask me what was the cause of gun violence in America. I'm telling you, it's mental health. How is that a completely different question?
Because people with mental health problems have easy access to guns.
Why do they have mental health problems? How about we start with that? That's the point I'm trying to make the whole time. Because my answer to you, when you asked me my answer to you was, Mr. Ben, you asked me what was the cause of gun violence in America. I said it was mental health crisis. Yes, it was mental health crisis. If you get people in the right state of mind, even if you leave guns sleeping around the room all day, nobody's going to touch it. If they have the right, if they're in the right state of mind, nobody's going to touch a gun. No one. They will know that this is a weapon and it's for my protection, and that's it.
Yeah.
Not for offense, it's for defense, and that's it. If they're in the right state of mind. That's why I went to the fundamental cause of why this is even happening in this country. And the fundamental cause of it is mental health.
Mental health is an issue everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the world, but everywhere in the world, people with mental health issues don't have such easy access
And by the way, I
weapons
agree
of
with you.
war. And look, that mental health is a huge issue in this country.
Yeah.
One of the biggest. I brought this up on the show many times. And like I said, those things are not mutually exclusive. We don't have to pick a problem to solve here. We should be trying to solve both issues. Okay. And they're both major issues in this country.
Again, like I said to you, I agree with the fact that there should be more regulations around guns in America. I didn't say no to this fact. I was just creating analogies because I need to understand the whole bill more. That's why I was creating analogies. I was creating scenarios, hypothetical situations to understand this.
So, go back to, original point here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge misconception.
Okay.
Whenever there's a debate about the right to own a gun, nobody in Congress or anywhere has proposed a ban on guns. That's not a real thing. That's what Republicans will state to scare people. It's a scare tactic to say they want to take your guns away. They've been saying that for decades. They said it about Obama. They've said it about previous presidents that they want to take your guns away. That's a lie.
Okay.
The legislation that was proposed was to have more strict background checks for people who are buying guns. That's a good thing.
Was this legislation made public?
Of course.
Okay. I think what I want to encourage people here in this line of in this line of questioning, right, from you is never, for me, again, I would say this, it's not, when it comes to situations like this that are affecting the public directly, and right now, to me, it's never a Republican or a Democrat thing. To me, is you as a sane human being watching this, educated person, pick up the bill and read it and see if it is best for you. If it's best for you, vote for it. That's what I always say.
Well,
people out here have access to it. You talk like the
100
American people don't have access to it. Like this person is scaring the American people like they don't see the bill. Don't they see the bill?
My entire point was 95% of Americans did.
Okay.
and they were in favor of it.
Yeah.
So yes,
Then it should have been passed.
absolutely pick up the bill and read it.
And read it.
And it is a scare tactic.
Yeah.
It is 100% a scare tactic to tell people that someone wants to ban your right to own a gun. That's a lie. So yes, I would call that a scare tactic. I would call that dishonest. Pick up the bill and read it. I agree with you.
That's what I'm saying. Pick up the bill and read it. Ask as many questions as you can about the bill. That's why I was asking you all these scenarios. Because I need to understand what you're trying to get me to support. I need to understand it first of all. Yeah.
Read the bill.
Read the bill.
All right, what's your next question?
All right, my next question to you. Give me a second. We are asking questions from the phone today. I ask you if the marriage rates in America are progressively declining over the years. And you said yes to this question. Why is that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, divorce is 50% of marriages, something like that. Maybe more now. I don't know that, past research.
Man, I heard it was almost close to 70 now. That means in every 10 marriages
I wouldn't be surprised.
Close to 7 are going to break up. That's scary.
Yeah. I think it goes back to, people get married for the wrong reasons many times. I think we've discussed on this show, right? The path to marriage in life is often it's based on a societal expectation.
Yeah.
Right? We're kind of expected that we go through this certain pattern in our lives, right? We get through school, we date the person that we happen to be dating at this particular phase of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Is because of where we are in our lives, how old we are, all these other factors. It's suddenly the person that we should marry and start a family with, and that's sort of it's kind of like the formula that's been created for all of us, and it's surprising, right? That it's still, you kind of look at cultures around the world, it's still sort of the expectation in the majority of cultures around the world that everyone just sort of follows this one formula in life, and that doesn't fit a lot of us. Most of us, it would seem. Yeah. It takes time to figure out who's a good partner for us, who we're compatible with. I can speak from experience. A lot of learning the hard way about the type of partner I could be with, for example. And so dating, and I'm now in my mid 30s. And I would say I'm only now getting to a point where I can even articulate the type of partner I would need, someone who would be compatible to spend my entire life with, right? So I think, I think at the root of it, there's this expectation that, you're supposed to get married and have this partner that you just sleep side by side the entire rest of your life, mm-hmm. And everything is perfect from there. But really, we should be thinking about, what do I need in a partner? Who's compatible with me, and someone that I could really, it's the entire rest of your life, right? There should be something you consider very seriously, and not something that should be based on where you are at this moment of your life, I think. And so I think that many people just find that they're not compatible after. It's hard when you move past the first phase of that relationship and you get to a point where you start to see every flaw that this person has, and you get to know them on a much deeper level. And if that's someone that at that point you realize, I'm not compatible with this person, I can't love them unconditionally, I kind of want to kill them.
Don't say stuff like that, but I get you.
But that's what happens in a lot of in a lot of long-term relationships and marriages, and it's nowadays, according to those statistics, I mean, it's more rare that you're able to make that work, because another part of it is that as humans, we're going to continually change and evolve. So the person you were in your 20s, you're not going to be that same person 10 years down the road. And so it's even worth analyzing, right? As you change and evolve, does this person still compatible with me? Mm-hmm. And I think, the divorce rate is insanely high, but I think it's not completely a bad sign. I think it's that people are actually doing that analysis after a while and realizing
this is not a person
This
I
is
want
not
to
the
be
person that I
with
should
anymore.
spend my entire
Like,
life with.
Don't you think that is something you should figure out in the dating phase?
Well, of course. I think, I think people are doing a better job of, you don't see as many marriages start so young. I think there's more likely to be people who are dating through their 30s and
Well, before I
not
wrote this question
settling.
down for you, right? What I
Uh-huh.
did was I ran a survey on the organization's page, Africa is Home Facebook page. I ran a survey,
Okay.
and I was just asking young men what their reason was for choosing not to get married, and a lot of them repeated this particular point that marriage is no longer beneficial to men; it only benefits women. They pointed the laws around the divorce courts, like we pointed on our previous episodes. They said these laws don't help young men. When you get married with someone, 15 years, 20 years, when they evolve, like you just said, they can easily get bored. And when they take you to court asking for separation, everything you've worked so hard for, they will split it into two and give them half. In some cases, if you own a business, you still have to pay them alimony as long as they are single.
Yeah.
They get to kick you out of your house, divide everything. So they don't want
Right.
to take that risk after working so hard to build whatever it is they have. So
Sure.
what would you say to them? Because a lot of them, I actually have a lot of people make this point, and I can't really blame them. I see you've seen situations like Jeff Bezos. You saw that Bill Gates. It happened to him. We have even seen famous soccer players go through this. We have seen famous musicians go through this. So
Of course,
if
yeah.
actors, top entrepreneurs, business people, athletes can keep their women, what about what chances do I have as an average individual sitting down here? What chances do I actually have succeeding in a marriage?
Right.
So I also share in their fear because marriage is not something I'm ever gonna do. No, these are my reasons.
Never say never.
No, trust me, I will never get married. If you see me trying to get married, stop me. I'm under something. Make sure you stop me.
Are you sure you want me to stop?
Stop me. If you see me on that altar trying to do it, run up there and tell them this guy will be miserable in 5 years.
All right.
Stop me.
You
So why would you
all
say
heard
to,
it. I'm gonna break up this man's wedding one day.
So what would you say to people like me that have this fear with all these guys that I did this survey with?
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely the smart decision to not do something that you're not ready to do. I mean, like, it's interesting because, right, like a lot of people, different cultures around the world, even, I went to school with people from Asia, for example, or parts of India, where it was like they were anxious about having to go back home after graduating school because they knew that the next phase of their life was just the expectation from their family and their culture and everything was that I'm just going to have to get married now. Like that's what my family is going to force upon me now that I'm graduated from school and all of this. And so, it's crazy that, so many people that's just like the expectation on them. And it's almost like they're pushed into something that they even know they're not ready for. So you need to exercise every bit of your freedom. That's the advice I would give to you.
Okay.
Don't do something. Obviously, don't get yourself into a situation that if you have fear of someone trying to take advantage of you through that, absolutely. You should only be obviously entering that holy matrimony, as they call it, with someone that you are deeply connected with and have that trust in. I mean, to the point of divorce. Yeah, the laws in this country are set up in such a way that if you were, alimony is a big thing. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. If someone was your partner through your entire life and helped you build this wealth, it's not wrong that they're entitled to some of that. A case I remember from the 90s, because I'm that old, was Michael Jordan. And his, obviously Michael Jordan, one of the biggest, basketball stars of all time,
athletes in the world.
An absolute legend. And he was wealthy enough he could buy his own country if he wanted to at that time. And yeah, his wife got half of everything because.
Do you think half is fair?
That's
I know they should get something for the years,
completely
but
dependent, of course, on the situation. I mean, like if it was someone who was with you by your side the entire way and helped you get to where you are. Look, different relationships, different marriages, people play different roles, right? And I'm not discounting at all that, that a spouse, a wife in that situation could have contributed a lot to someone's success. Same goes for someone like Bill Gates, right? I mean, like we as men, let me put it that way. I mean, oftentimes rely a lot on our significant others, our spouse, even our girlfriends, for a lot of support along the way. It's hard. It's hard doing a lot of things solo, and we've discussed on this program even like the importance of partnership and how that helps you get to your goals. So that's the reason for some of these laws. Now it's gotten so messy, right, that it's like divorce. Divorce attorneys, that's a major industry in this country. That's marriage and divorce has become quite a business, right? And that's why I think you hear so many young people, to your question, wanting to get away from this this expectation and this. It's become something that doesn't really seem to benefit us.
Ben,
it could work against us, and if you're not careful, that's a situation you can get into.
I spend so much time watching these divorce court videos, and I've just realized that a lot of women will burn down an empire, something that took years to build with their man, because they got bored. They would exit a very beautiful marriage because they got bored.
What is that, on cable? Divorce court?
Yeah, I not on cable. I watch it on. I follow their pages on Facebook. I just sit down and I watch them to motivate me never to get married.
Yeah. Well, that's
because they got bored. Jesus Christ, what happened to for better for worse?
Because the wife got bored.
Yes, saying? It's always the wife getting bored. The wife got bored, so I don't want to be in this anymore. I no longer feel like myself. I no longer feel like I get enough of your time, and that's it. Divorce.
Once again, you don't know until you try.
Right now
you haven't been in. Don't marry somebody.
Relating back to your point, you said you were in school with some foreign exchange students that didn't want to go back home, and because they knew that it was going to be the next phase of their life.
Yeah, that their families were basically going to be arranging a marriage
right
for them.
now in my family.
You're what?
I'm the oddball right now. They look at me like, and everybody have a question mark about me. Because I've repeatedly told all my aunties, uncles.
Well, you can let them know we're going to get you a mental health checkup.
Stop it. And especially my mom. Over and over that I'm not getting married. But it's such a normal thing in our community. Not getting married sounds like a taboo.
Yeah. Right.
They don't get it. But I'm watching how the world is evolving. I told my mom that even my mom got a divorce too. But yeah, I told her that the way marriage was when you grow up is not the same things we are facing today. Some of these women will literally target you, see your potential, walk into your life, just wait for everything to fall in place, then they leave and take half of everything. So and the laws of our lands are contributing to this, they're helping them do this.
Back home, do you have any family who are unmarried? I mean, or
not a lot.
Or is it basically everybody is expected?
It's the norm. You have to get married. When you come off, if someone like me now, they consider me as pretty successful. So what they think now is I'm ready for the next phase of my life. So every conversation I have with friends back home, family members, they always get back to that. When are you gonna get married again? And then I tell them I'm not gonna be doing that. They go like, nah, you're just going through a phase. You will get married. But I hope one of these days they can start respecting my decision, because I'm not going through a phase. I'm not gonna do it. I don't see why I should do it.
Well, like I said, this still seems globally to be the formula that everyone is expected to sort of, the path in life that everyone is sort of expected to follow.
Africans watching this right now, right? They will relate to this. Hold on, just give me a second. Let me make this point.
Mm-hmm.
Most Africans that migrate here, when they become somewhat successful, what they do is they go back home and get married back home. Then when they come here, they file with the United States Immigration Services and bring their wives here, because that's actually a very good legal way to bring anyone here. It takes like 8 months, your wife is here. When you file for them, even if fiance, they get here like really fast. So when they do this, you know what happens? Yeah. Some of these women, when they come here, bro, they don't even make a week with them. They leave. They just use them to get here. Then they leave.
Right.
Bro, I've even heard of situations where the women left the man at the airport. Your whole
pretty bold.
Preparing a whole feast, inviting people that my wife is coming from Cameroon. But your wife landed at the airport and one of
she had other plans.
Yeah, her high school boyfriends pick her up and they disappeared.
Wow, that's cold.
And you didn't hear from her for like the next 8 months. And it's a lot of money to put into that. It's not a cheap process.
No, of course.
So
It's
someone like me now, how would I know if they're just trying to use me or they just see my potential, they just want to try to get in here, get comfortable. Then when I get somewhere comfortable, they split and take half everything I've been working so hard for.
Yeah.
It's very hard to look
well,
past that.
we gotta work on your trust issues.
I'm sorry, man. I've seen it
therapist can
way
help with
too
that.
many times.
Uh,
The cheating in our community here is dangerous. It's like most women from my community here are cheating on their husbands. I just sit back and I'm like, some are even on dating apps. Married woman, what are you doing on dating apps?
Yeah.
Do you know how bad that is? And my
I've
family
probably met some of them, yeah.
my family expect me to go back and bring someone here or find someone here and do that. Someone that was just gonna get up one morning and tell me that, well, I'm bored. I wanna leave. No, man. I wanna pack my bags and travel the world. I wanna visit a bunch of safaris, take pictures of lions. That's the way I wanna live my life.
Right. And that's exactly the point, right? So many of us don't fit into the specific formula. Because it's kind of shocking to think like that everyone is sort of expected, right? You somehow manage to find this one person, and then you put the ring on and boom, everything's just perfect for the rest of your life. You just sleep side by side, and humans aren't built that way, right? I mean, like I said before, we evolve and we continue to change throughout our lives, and you really do it for it to be even remotely successful. You have to find someone who you can grow together with, who you can, it's a very deep level of trust and compatibility that has to be there for you as a couple to be able to evolve together and grow together, and for that to be maintained for decades and decades. Like that's more rare than common, I would say, for that to be successful, which is why so many people just don't fit that formula for life. I mean, it's hard for human beings. It's human nature that we, a comedian said, if I can remember this, love plus time minus distance equals hate. The point being,
distance.
You're going to fall in love with somebody, but then if you don't foster that, and if you're just stuck, living there in the same house, you don't give one another the necessary distance and time, and you will grow to resent that person eventually because so many reasons. I mean, like you get sick of this person, you feel like, oh, I'm stuck with this person, they're holding me back. There's so many things that go into that. You need to be prepared for that to make any type of commitment, to even for it to have a chance, right? The real struggle doesn't end when you put the ring on. That's when it starts.
That's when the journey
I think
starts.
that's an important thing to remember. That's when the real work has to start. And so we need to be, if you ever get to the point of wanting to be in that type of relationship, that's what you have to be prepared for. I think people get lazy. They think, okay, now that we've entered into this agreement, now we can just relax and everything's going to be fine, because no, you don't stop being a human being, right? You still have the same challenges, the same temptations all around you. If you're not putting in the work to build that relationship and to continually build it, it's doomed. And I think that's why 70% of these marriages are failing, is because
and I just keep hearing
if you don't put in the work, it's not going to work.
I keep hearing that appalling statement that a happy wife, happy marriage. And sometimes even our scholars are participating in that nonsense. What do you mean a happy wife, happy marriage? So my own happiness doesn't matter? I'm just supposed to be depressed and miserable in the entire time?
Well, I would like to think, I guess, if you keep your wife happy, she'll also keep you happy.
So if she's now happy, I'm supposed to just be miserable. But if she's happy, I have to figure out a way to be happy.
It's a sign that's right. I mean, it's a sign that something's wrong. I mean, if she's not happy, there's something wrong. And that's why relationships, they take maintenance. I mean, it's a lot of work that goes into it.
Well, in the same line of questioning, I have one more question for you. Do you think like the options we have in the society right now can be contributing to this? The fact that people have so many options, and when it is not working out, they just want to move to the next?
Well, the options are a double-edged sword, because like I said, the goal being you find someone who's truly compatible. And that's allowed me, even, I can speak from my personal tribulations. That allows me to really search for someone that I think is going to be someone I could actually spend my entire lifetime with. But then where do you sort of decide to make that commitment, right? When do you really
At one point,
double down and say, okay, this is the person that I'm gonna love them no matter what, that even when I hate them, I still love them, kind
figure it out
of
the way to make it
thing.
work. Yeah.
And that's the situation we're in. Yeah, there is the, I think, I called it in a previous episode the illusion of all these options, because everyone's going on social media everywhere. They're going on all these apps. They see just this endless, and you get into a mindset where nothing is quite ever good enough, because you meet this person and based on the first impression, you're thinking, oh, they don't meet all of my qualifications. There's all these other options. You're never going to get to a place of compatibility with anybody if you don't dig in a little deeper. And I think that's everything in the current dating scene is surface level, right? I think that's kind of the challenge that we have. Is it's very surface level. People are not so much taking the time to really get to know somebody. And you have to understand that everything is not going to be perfect, especially from the beginning. Like there's not going to be one person who, very rarely is there going to be one person who's 100% compatible. It's two people coming from two very different places, and you sort of are able to build together and hopefully sort of fill in one another's shortcomings and weaknesses and that kind of stuff, and find a happy medium. But that takes effort too, right? I mean, if you don't take the time to really try to get to know someone on a deeper level, you're always going to be at sort of that surface level, and yeah, you'll be coasting across all the options out there. But it is an illusion, because social media, as we know, sets this expectation.
Yeah, it sets the standards.
For example, this is what I should be looking for, right? That unless I find this exact thing in a partner, then I'm not going to settle. That doesn't really exist for the most part. As we've talked about, like the expectation for women is to find this man who makes this certain amount of money, who has all these things. I think we said,
even if when they find someone like that,
yeah,
tall, successful, handsome, all the stuff they talk about, they still get bored. That's my problem. They still get bored.
Yeah,
that's why I was listing actors, comedians, athletes. Everybody's divorcing. So it's not very encouraging for someone like me that already have a big question mark about the whole marriage thing.
Yeah, I think they're not putting in the work.
My chances are like almost not existing.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out for these people, how will it work out for me?
You'll be all right.
So now,
but hey,
I'll
look,
skip my friend.
If you decide to date, just know
nothing.
Nothing.
I will.
Yeah, nothing can happen unless you do try to go on a deeper level. We talked about on a previous episode as well, like, you have to be willing to open yourself up. People, I think, in the dating culture nowadays, it's all about sort of protecting them, not allowing any bit of vulnerability. If your main concern is just sort of protecting yourself, and you're not really able to open yourself up and to different ways of thinking, to getting, to allowing someone to see different sides of you, you're not going to get very far. So look, protect yourself, absolutely. But if you meet someone who there's potential, give it a go.
And see it through.
Give it a go.
You better not be one of these people that will just come in 10 years down the line, they split and get half of everything I've labored so hard for. Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. Well, no, my friend.
I mean, have her sign a prenup, I guess, if that's the case.
Those work? I hear they get tossed out the window in the court when you get done.
You need a good attorney.
Yeah. All right, Ben,
where are we at?
I think we are out of time.
Once again.
Yeah.
Platini wouldn't shut up. All right.
That was you. It was me.
All right. You. Then we have a very... it's good that we end here, because we have a very contentious question that we didn't get to.
Okay. It will take
for the
a lot
next
of time.
episode.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, knowing you, it's going to take a lot of time. But we had a great...
The producer is laughing in the background.
we had a great discussion. We had a great discussion this episode. And look, as we see in every episode, there are a great many things Platini and I don't see eye to eye on, but we're still able to sit here and debate these issues, talk through them. and look, allow the audience a front row seat into that debate. And this is really important. We believe that people with different ideologies are able to sit down and discuss
have a conversation
and not cut one another off because we disagree.
Yeah.
But to have these discussions and to keep the dialogue going. So thanks once again for everybody who tuned in.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all. We'll see you next time.